Hiya folks, welcome back to Fishing with Den. And this last 2 or 3 weeks has been nothing but flooding. So I'm actually on a match today, so we're going to do a bit of a live match thing. I won't tell you anything about what's been happening in the last few weeks because nothing's been happening. It's literally been catching nothing. Anyway, so on the club pond I've got a 0.6 of a gram rig on. I've got probably 5 feet of water. I might have gone a bit lighter than that, but there's a bit of a wind coming up, so it's usually get a bit of a tow. So I'm going with the 0.6 of a gram float anyway. I'm using, I think it's 022 mainline, 020 bottom. In fact, I need to just move these shots. Just put those, string them down a little bit. There we go. I've got a 14 B911 hook on that. I've also got a float rod set up, 3AA waggler for a bit further out, and I've got a ledger rod, a feeder rod. Excuse me. And I'm in the shallows, as you can probably gather, right at the top end of the pond. The deep end's down there, and as I said, we've had so much rain and there's more to come. Even this pond is a little bit brown and horrible, but nowhere near as bad as where I live. Haven't seen much doing today. Obviously you can see me with shorts on, so there's a little bit of warmth in the air and quite pleased about that. But the last 3 matches that have been on here have had some fairly poor weights, so I'm going to feel my way in really gently today. I'm going to start off on the feeder, put a little bit of bait in for the pole line just while I'm doing that, and then come back over it and see what happens. I mean, as I say, I'm just going to have to feel my way in because it was so patchy last time. Whistle's just about to go, so I'm going to put one small ball of ground bait in on the pole line to 11 metres, and I've mixed this ground bait up so it's very fine. I ground the stuff down in the coffee grinder, and literally I'm just going to put that in. The idea is, well, that's the all in. The idea is to make the ground bait very fine, so that if they do suck it up, they're not going to get full, because since the floods we're really sort of struggling a little bit for decent fish in here. But what I have done, as you may be able to see, is I've got some crushed hemp in there as well. So a tiny little ball, and I'm just going to put literally probably 3 or 4 bits of corn with it. And I'm just going to, as I say, feel my way in. Go out to 11 metres, like I said. Kind of sitting down a slope at the moment, so it's all a little bit awkward, but you get that sometimes, don't you? Alright, so got my marker and put it in. Okay, and that's all I'm going to do on the pole line just for now. Normally you'd be not filling it in, but you'd be using an awful lot more bait than that. And then in the meantime, oops, don't put it down on top of that then. Grab me rod. I've got a 30 gram feeder on, fairly small one for me today. I've got a 14 hook on this. This is a Preston KKHB, which is a pretty good hook actually, I like those. And I'm just going to put 2 bits of corn on a hair. Now, even though they are fairly small fish that are left in here after all the floods that we had, they aren't tackle shy at all, or generally not. So 2 should be fine, but again, we'll gauge it as we go. Just get these on, get some ground bait in. I'm fishing at, I think it's 44 turns on the reel, so I know where I'm at. Again, I'm not going to put any particular amounts of particles in there, just this ground bait, 2 or 3 bits of corn. I've got some pellets with me as well, but I don't want to be filling up small fish if I can avoid it. And here we go then. Right, let's see how this goes. Well, literally it's been in for 30 seconds and it's a decent fish. Not huge, but it'll do me. Wow. I wasn't expecting that, guys. They've been catching really small fish in here lately, and as I mentioned before, the floods came right over and flooded this whole area. We had dead cows in the trees and all sorts at one point. But that was a good bite, wasn't it? I know you didn't see it. I hadn't got the other camera set up to look at it just yet, so I was amazed. Wow. Not using the heavy duty feeder rod today because obviously I don't need to, but I do like this Drennan Vertex rod. Had it for some years now, and it's a great little rod. He's not going mad, this fish though, is he? He's just sort of pulling, but just get the first fish in, Den. That's all you got to do. Come on. As I say, they tell me they've been catching small fish. Howard next to me just came down before the match and he said, yeah, I was catching small fish, and then bloke had one probably about 4 or 5 pound on the last match and beat me by about a pound or so. Well, you know, if he's only catching little tiddly things, this definitely isn't a 3 or 4 ounce fish. Just make sure it doesn't go into that tree down there, which it's heading for, which I really don't want it to do. Come on, get out of it. Get out of it. Oh, get it this way. Oof. I've got some stakes in the water, I'm going to be a bit careful. I don't know if you can see it sticking out down there. There's another one just under my keep net. Come on. Oops, into the keep net. He's got some go now, hasn't he? Just stay on, fish. Definitely woken up. Come on. Just when I think he's coming, he decides not to. Come on. That's the thing, as I say, it's got a bit warmer now, so they've got a bit more strength. Come on, fish. Come on. Out of there. Right. Come on. I think it's on the outside of its mouth. Yeah. Come on. See where it is? Just above his eye, look. No, don't do that. That'll do. Whew. One. And he's probably, ooh, I don't know, 4 pounds maybe. We'll give it that. Not going to show you today, so I'm going to get him straight in the net. Got a new keep net. I'm just hoping it's not one of those keep nets where it allows the fish to get stuck on their dorsal fins. I mentioned before they've got these sharp serrated dorsal fins and they tear nets to pieces. Right, same again then. Just a bit of ground bait, tiny little amount of corn, probably 3 bits. I've actually got quite a reasonable amount of ground bait with me today because, as I said, I really don't know if it's going to turn on, in which case I'm going to need it, or not. But I can always freeze it. Well, it's not like the first cast where it went round after a few seconds. I've actually got the camcorder set up down there now. That was a bit of a performance as well. Decided not to play for a while, so I'm a little bit behind. I've no idea what anybody else is catching. Haven't heard much. But might put a little bit more ground bait in on the pole line just to see how we are doing on that. Of course, I'll have to wait until I've reeled this one, and you can't feed with a pole whilst you've got another rod in the water, of course. Yeah, it looks like that one was a bit of a fluke. In fact, change of plan here. I've got those bits of ground bait out there on the feeder line. I think we'll rest that, see how that goes, and just try the pole line just in case they are there. And they may not be. I mean, as I said at the start, I really today really don't know quite what to do for the best, because the weather's been all over the place. Right, let's get this pole out. Right, let's get the bar out because I can't hold the pole properly at the moment with the arthritis, so I'll adjust that as we go. But I'm hoping we'll get one or two bites this way. It's got a single piece of corn on the 14 hook. And as I say, I'm going to go out to 11 metres to start with. Get myself sorted out. See how we go. That's not bad. Wind has decided to go this way now. It was going across my shoulder earlier on, so you don't see for the best sometimes, do you? If I'd known it was going to go that way, I'd have been fishing over to my left a bit. Oh, that was a bite. Just using a 14 slick elastic today. Normally in here, because of all the big fish that probably only used to be in there now, after the floods of course they've probably been washed out, but I used to use the 22 elastic because I've had them up to 26 pound in here. Oh, first fish I've seen jump all day. And so that's why I used to use the heavy elastic, but nothing big's come out of here in the last 2 or 3 matches, so I'm down on the 14 elastic again, which is probably a bit more realistic. I think I might put a pot on the end of this pole and just keep trickling a few bits of bait in. And again, I think it'll be a tiny little pellet of ground bait because that'll dissolve rather than putting in particles like pellets. I didn't have anything on that second put in, but I'm just going to get this small pole pot on. And just literally a small nugget of ground bait with probably 2 bits of corn. Let's see how we go with that. I'm sure if I put too much bait in today I'm going to scare them off, because I'm sure nobody else is actually bagging either. But feel your way in, Dan. Took off a bit, didn't he? Mind you, I'm not used to 14 elastic, am I? He's not all that big. And that was literally after just putting that little nugget in. Took a minute or so, but it's gone under. 2 fish. And this one's underneath his chin. Starting to wonder what I've got to do to get it in his mouth. Still, 2 fish. Ground bait in my mouth. Okay. I'm not going to just feed this time, just to see. just in case. I'll be so careful today that I don't make a mess of it. And that's it. Ouch. Arthritis is playing up a bit today. Still, it's a nice day. You can't complain, Dan. Just heard Howard next door. He's put a fish in the net. Only a small one, a bit like the one I had. It's the first one I've heard him do, and I haven't heard anybody else saying much about fishing. Well, literally nothing after that one bite, or one fish. I did feed a little bit more, but yeah, like I said, it could well be a bit of a scratching match, this one. I think I might just try out on the feeder line again. Let's have a bit of a rest, let's see what happens. Oh, still nothing on this line, so I think the only thing we can do is go back onto the pole line and just hope they come in. Really a bit of a loss here. The guy to my right hasn't caught any, I don't think. Howard's just had the one. Still haven't heard anybody across there, so who knows. Well, the second fish I've seen jump out there. I don't know if you caught that, but there's hardly anything moving. I'm gonna just feed a usual small ball of ground bait, 2 or 3 bits of corn, and just hope like hell that they move in. Because at the moment, this is looking about as grim as the last time I fished on this side. Just had the faintest little bob then. There's an odd fish out there, aren't there? It's just not very many. How'd you miss that, Den? How did you miss that? Well, that's kind of lifting a bit, but I want to get a positive bite. It's something very strange going on today. See what I mean? The little bounces and this fish down there. I've just been trying off the bottom about 3 inches, but I had a couple of bobs, struck at an odd one, but no, not a proper bite. So I've gone back down on the bottom on bread. There's obviously fish down there, it's just a question of getting them. We're 2 hours in, by the way, and I've still got those same 2 fish, but nobody else around me's caught any more than me. Howard's still on 2, GT to my right, I think he's got 1. This is what I was concerned about, as I said at the start. It's just not fishing like it used to since we had the flood come through and presumably washed quite a few of the fish out. Well, as I say, back to the sweet corn then, just a single piece. I've tried 3 different baits now, and usually if you're having to do that, you're struggling, and guess what? I'm struggling. So it's getting close to looking like a bite, but it's just not going under. Quick update, folks. 2.5 hours in, and still exactly the same as before. Been on the feeder for a few minutes now, but there's nothing much doing. I know there's some fish down where I'm fishing on the pole. Just a question of turning them into bites. Might try a little bit shallower than I was even before, and I was probably 2 or 3 inches off the bottom come up another few inches. Thing is, over here they don't come up in the water like you do in commercials. They tend to hug the bottom or just come up slightly. Either that or you might get them on the surface, but in this place they're generally either on the bottom or you're not going to catch them. But you've got to try something, haven't you? Right, I've had enough of this. Let's go back to the pole. I've shallowed up. I'm probably guessing it's 6 inches off the bottom now. Again, we'll put some of this ground bait in, keep me interested. But I'm kind of at a loss here, guys. It's one of those days where you know there's fish there, but you can't actually get them to turn to a proper bite. You get a bob, but that's it. Yeah, and honestly, I'm a bit of a loss here as to how to get a proper bite. I'll vary the depth a bit again. This time maybe go a little bit closer to the bottom, as in slightly deeper. Again, just a bounce. There's obviously fish knocking into it. They're liners, but if they're there, they're feeding, but they're just not feeding on anything I'm throwing at them. Very slow little bite, but hey, it was a bite. Just stay on this time, fish. I think it's one of those small ones, but anything's welcome at this point, guys. Well, a little bit bigger than I first thought anyway. Ooh. Headed for the tree. Get out of there. Oops. This is actually much better than I first thought. I thought this was going to be about 3 ounces to start with. It keeps heading down for those trees and reeds and whatever. What the hell is this? Look at that. Amazing amount of strength for such a little fish. It's a mullet, that's why. That's why I'm getting those silly little bites. It's a mullet bite. Wow. Kind of explains things though, doesn't it? The question now is, how do I actually get more bites from these and hit them? Got me fight these things, eh? There we are. Oof. There he is, look, decent looking mullet, and he's properly hooked in the top lip. There we are. Oof. Well, back to bread. I think I'm just fractionally off bottom now. See if we can do something else. That's the thing with the floods that I keep going on about. The river comes over and they come out of the river, which is of course a tidal river. What we'll do is get some ground bait into it again, just a small amount, and plop the thing over the top, and then potentially strike at any indication. Well, struck an indication, but nothing there. So it's looking like I might have to do that, because they aren't actually giving me proper bites apart from that one. Just keep trying different things, I suppose. Oof. Oh, I don't know if this is a carp or not. Let's just come off anyway. Oh no, it didn't. Thought it'd come off, but not. Try and keep it out of that tree. Yep, another mullet. Now it's 4 fish. I'm told I can weigh them in, so that's what I'm going to do. Not as big as the last one. Ow. Alright, still hooked in the top lip, which is good. That's what, 4 fish? 4 more than I thought I was going to get earlier on. Just using a single piece of bread now. I think it's a 6mm, is it? It is a... oh, it's an 8mm. GoPro, start recording. Well, I just went back onto the bottom properly, laying on about 1 inch or 2. Put a piece of sweet corn on, and literally in and under. So, there's the carp turned up underneath, which is more what I came for. I'm going to get another mullet. I think this one's actually a carp. Yeah, it's a carp. Well, just goes to show, keep ringing the changes. Believe in yourself. Yeah, believe in yourself, right. I was all about to go home at one point. That'll do. It's probably at least a pound. That's more than a pound. So that's alright. Get back in there and do it again. Yes. Took a bit longer, but a bite. Well, I'm not seeing anybody else around me catching much. I'm certainly catching more than the guys to the left and the right. So it looks like my strategy of feeding quite lightly with not too many particles might be paying off. GT next to me hammered in a few dozen pellets at a time by the feel of things, and he's not catching, so it might just be that I've got this more or less right today. No sooner say you got it right than you make a mess of it. Ah, dearie, dearie. Well, I really did open my mouth too soon on that last one, didn't I? Lost the fish, haven't had a bite since. Time now, hold on, let's have a look. 12:19. So, that's oh, hang on. That was a little knock. It's almost 3.5 hours in. Richard's got 10 fish, he says. He's right down there. And 3 of them are very, very small, so even with 7 he's likely to have more than me in weight. He's in the deeper area where I was last time. Getting bounces there, but gone back to corn, by the way. This wind blowing into my face is making it difficult to fish off the bottom. GoPro, start recording. Yes, proper bite. So, Are you going to stay on? Could be another mullet actually. No, I think this is more likely to be a carp. Yep, it's a carp. That time we got another one, isn't it? Not even sure where we're at, time wise. A quick squint at that now. It's basically 1 o'clock, so I've got 2 hours to go, and I've got what, 6 fish? Oops. See if we can get a few more. Come on, Den. Oh. Wow. Took me a while to get that one, but I suppose I am still catching. Getting a bit cloudy over there. They're talking about some showers moving in later, so I just hope they don't move in before we finish. Right, how big are you? Not big enough to have to worry about pulling an elastic, I don't think. At least it was a proper bite. And this, if I get it in, will be 7. Which I reckon probably puts me in something like between 10 and 15 pounds, which is not much for this place, but based on today, I won't be coming last. It's very quiet around the banks. People not talking, so. Oof, hook came out in the net, look. That's handy. Try not to hit the camera. Right, well that was on bread, so we'll give that another go. Tried Den's durable pellet, but that doesn't seem to be doing any good. I think I might, after this one though, give it one more go, you never know. Oh dear, talk about wrench it around and there's me getting tentative little bites, and all of a sudden this, literally put it in and the elastic's coming out. So just stay on, fish. I think a small carp, but didn't he take off? Little mirror. Lovely little thing. Just not very big. Could do with being about another 5 pounds heavier than that. Look at that. Fully scaled mirror. Oh, it's only just nicked in the lip. Alright then, fish. Have some more of that. I must have virtually taken it on the drop. Although I had to say it probably had reached the bottom, but only just. Oh, got some elastic going out. Been very quiet, so what I did, I put in one of the great big pots, one of these of bait, ground bait, and just to try it, because there's only half an hour, 20 minutes to go, and I wasn't catching anything, so put that in and immediately I'm into a bite. Well, not immediately, the actual bite took a minute or two, but literally went in, wasn't very long at all. I think this one's a bit bigger. pulling well, isn't he? Trying to get into the bank. It really doesn't want to come. I don't know if this is another mullet or what. Good bite though, if it was. Come on, get out there. No, I think it's a carp. It looked more sort of golden on the sides. Well, the water's still a bit coloured, so it's difficult to tell. Yeah, it is a carp. Right. Oh. At least I haven't blanked today anyway. I've quite enjoyed it. It's been a bit slow, but a lot better than I've been doing at my place. Hopefully there's some more out there. And the reason I did the big pot full was just to see. I mean, kind of expecting it to kill it altogether, but it was already pretty dead as it was, so what have I got to lose? I think if I'd put a load of bait in at the start, I probably would have had all sorts of problems with not catching fish, but I don't know. Oh, is this a bit bigger? Could do with one about 5 or 6 pounds. Really? Oh, okay. Just didn't want him to be too close to that tree. Oof. Yeah, balls that one completely done. Could have done without losing that. Well, he's off out into the middle. Alright fish, slow down. Come back this way now. Well, whatever happens, I think this is probably going to be my last fish because there's literally about 4 minutes to go or so. So, we'll get this one in, hopefully. Then, as usual, I'll do the weigh-in, and I won't get the results for me for a few hours after I got back home. But for you, it'll be a few seconds after you see me get this fish in. He said, hopefully. Slightly better fish than I have been catching. Get out the back of that keep net. It's actually not all that big, but how fit was this guy? Yeah, amazing. Nowhere near as big as I thought he might have been. Right, I don't know exactly how many fish that is, but I've got to wait. I've got a few fish. A little bit frustrating of the day, but that happens. Okay, well I'll see you in a minute once the results are in, and we'll let you know how I got on. And here we are with the results. And it turns out it was actually quite a close match. We do our results in kilos, so I'll give you the results in kilos, and then I'll just tell you what that is in pounds to give you an idea. Richard won it. He had 11 kilos and 4 grams. Ivan was next, and he had 9.96 kilos, and I came third with 9.84 kilos. And that is 4 ounces less than Ivan. So he's done it again. He's beat me by a fraction. And of course, those odd fish that you lose always end up costing you. It's every time. It just seems that you get beaten by a couple of ounces here and there. I'm sure it happens to everybody else, but it just feels sometimes like it's only me that it happens to. Anyway, stop whining, Dan. So yeah, really, all in all, quite a close match. Just to convert those weights for you. Richard had about 24 pounds. Ivan had 21.95 and I had 21.65 pounds. So when you do the conversion on the laptop, it doesn't actually give you ounces, but you get the idea. So 4 ounces is what I lost it by. And I'd have to say, I think I fished pretty reasonably. Those top 3 weights in the sort of the near enough 10 to 11 kilos were out on their own. After that, you're looking at 6.5, 6.42, 5.42, 4.74, and so on. So the venue isn't fishing anywhere near as good as it did last year yet. And that's obviously, as I said, because of the floods, I think. You never know, it could also have been due to spawning. Apparently there were some off to the left of me doing that up in the really shallow parts. But at least we've had a reasonably close match, and it was quite a technical match, I felt. I think by feeding in the way I did, that's what's brought them on. And although I had a slowish start, cracking first fish of course, but then 2 hours of not too much. That last couple of hours, 2-3 hours, it really did start to get better and better. But wasn't I having to strike at those silly little dibs and dobs and things? If you look at some of the close-ups I showed you where the float's gone under, there was a couple of times I noticed that it had done that and I'd struck and it was just fractionally starting to come back up again. So I was striking and hitting the bobs. Anyway, look, I came third, had a good day, thoroughly enjoyed it. So I hope you enjoyed the video too. And if you did, as always, please click the like button. If you want to subscribe, feel free. And until the next one, bye for now.